All right, what's the word, Cosmos family, man? What's the word, y'all? So, your boy is at work, as always, on some shit, and it is twilight outside. It's a very beautiful day, man. It's a very beautiful day. But what I wanted to talk about is that people will watch you, and motherfuckers will not say shit until you actually fail, or until you get caught up in some crime, or until you take a L or some shit like that, right? And people typically say these things right when that happens, so they can be like, oh, I told you so. Or if they gossiping about you to other people, they can be like, oh, I told you that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen for them, right? Y'all gotta understand, man, people would not give y'all props. People would not give y'all flowers and shit like that as y'all traversing through y'all struggles and growing into, a better person, right? They won't give y'all flowers, right? But motherfuckers most definitely will watch y'all. They'll watch, they'll plot, they'll make conspiracies and rumors and shit like that, man. But y'all just gotta, just focus on yourself, on some real ass shit, man, because the truth don't need no, confirmation. The truth don't need no validation, right? The truth don't need what they say. The truth don't need encouragement, right? What's true is gonna always speak, right? The truth don't need, no backing. Truth don't need no receipts, because it just is what it is. And peep, I said that at 1:44. So shit, I'm actually, man, just here at work and everything like that, man. And what made me say that was, I come to work every single day. I don't get no props. I don't get no, hey, keep up the good work. I'm always here on time, right? I'm cool with all my coworkers and shit, but it's only gonna take for me to do one thing, right? Like, not come in. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say that, because I just called off and shit like a week ago and shit like that. I called off on the 1st, shit like that, yeah. So literally a week ago. I called off about a week ago, and ain't nobody really seemed like care on some shit like that. But that was my first time calling off in months. That was my first time calling off in months. That was my first time calling off since I've been working here. And I've been here for 6 months, right? I actually just hit my 6-month little period and whatever like that, right? But it's like, man, watch yourselves, man. Watch what y'all do in public, right? Because somebody is always watching you. Somebody is always, learning from you, right? Someone is always doing it, right? We can accept the stereotypes that, we've been labeled from society, but we don't have to live them. We don't have to outlive them, right? We don't have to do what societal standards say do if you a black person, right? You don't have to do what societal standards say do if you a male, right? You can authentically just be yourself, man, and being yourself authentically, man, is teaching people, right? Because people not used to authenticity. Everybody's so, wrapped up on the superficial, the artificial shit, that when you actually present something true and authentic, people often think it's weird, but that's what pulls people in the most, right? Because opposites attract, right? Everybody out here the same motherfucker, just in different bodies, right? But when you actually take on the journey, man, to be yourself, bro, it's like you got so many people that's gonna learn from you. You got so many people to teach. You got so many people to learn from, right? Yeah, man, y'all just gotta just understand life. Not y'all, but we. We have to understand life, right? Especially as young black men, right? You can do 1,000. That's a sign. You can do 1,000 shit right, but the world will judge you based on the one thing that you did wrong, right? Because that's the motherfucking world that we live in, right? People have to understand that, like, No matter how long I came in this job and shit like that on time, no matter how long I've been working here, no matter how good of a rapport I have with my coworkers, if I was to steal something from my job and shit like that, then all that shit is getting flushed down the drain, right? They're gonna relate back to that stereotype as black men, and then they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I should have known, he's a thief, he's a thug, he's a liar, he's a this and that, right? People wanna say that about you, right? People wanna, label you as fucked up. People wanna give you the worst of the worst. People want the rumors about you to be true, especially if they want to spread it. People want that shit to be true, right? People want that shit to be true. Like, people will buy more into what's false than what's truth, because the lies and shit like that get clicks, the lies get views, the lies get people interested and shit like that. People have to you have to understand that shit, man. That's how people operate. But you being yourself authentically, man, everything is gonna reveal itself at the end of the motherfucking day, man. Like, for real. It's crazy because people watch me every single day. People follow me every single motherfucking day, right? They've been doing this shit for months, if not years, right? Only because when you go against the status quo, when you go against the societal norms, people often think you're alien. People often think that you are, foreign, right? But that's just me being different. That's just the world just seeing different for the first time, and not a motherfucker wearing a mask, right? That's what people are seeing, right? But if anything, shit, my message to you is to just keep on going. My message to you, man, is to keep on going and keep on being you. Keep on being your authentic self, right? Because, motherfuckers don't like that. Motherfuckers don't like that you got you stable income, right? Motherfuckers really want to see you out, down in the motherfucking dirt. Motherfuckers want to see you as a product of your environment, right? People want to see that. Don't give them that sight to see, right? I'm not ever giving them that sight to see, because if you actually think about it, right, especially how your whole life been set up, man, your life has been the setup, right? You've been put in the environment that you've been put in to destroy you, but you just use that as power. You use that as, motivation, right? In the home show that I'm in, it's probably only 10 people working out of 100 people. Come on, man. It's probably 10 people working out of 100 people. They wanted me to be, they wanted me to, they wanted me to be the what? The 91 persons, right? They wanted me to be the 91st, right? But I came in that motherfucker with a job. That's why I thank the Most High. I thank the Most High Divine Creator of all things that I do have a job, right? Because I could imagine not having a job and having to be around this motherfucking shelter and shit all day, right? If you really could imagine the enemy's plan for your life, you're like, damn, the enemy really wanted me to be fucked up. The enemy really wanted me to be, just down bad and just horrible, right? Because truthfully, that's what the enemy really wanted of your ass, like, for real. I know I'm at work and shit, but I have just as much freedom here as I have at the shelter, right? I have just as much freedom here. That's why it's like coming to work ain't shit, because it's like I got the same amount of freedom, if not more freedom here. right? I got connections and people I can connect with here, right? Shit, I meet friends, or I meet co-workers or associates here, right? That I can go out with and hang out with, party with, like I, been doing, right? I can do that shit here. But being there, where motherfuckers ain't got no money, where motherfuckers ain't got no funds, man, you can't have no fun. You can only be a product of your environment, right? I mean, yeah, you see homeless people around here, you see things and shit like that around here too, but you don't, you don't see it that much, right? As you would downtown St. Louis, off of St. Louis Avenue, right? You not seeing that shit down here, right? There's more money down here, of course. It's more diverse. And anywhere where it's more diverse is good, right? Because we know in the black community, man, they never wanted to do anything with our people but put us in ghettos and put us in hoods, and that's a sign. That's all they ever wanted to do. So when we actually go out of our, communities and go mingle with other cultures and shit, we, open ourselves up, man, to more experiences, more lucrative experiences than the ones that we're just used to, right? Like, my co-workers, a lot of them are drinkers rather than smokers, right? Hanging out with them, I could stop smoking, but I probably pick up this habit of drinking, right? It's almost like you win some and you lose some type shit like that. But ultimately, man, just focus on yourselves, man. Motherfuckers gonna talk shit about y'all. Motherfuckers gonna watch y'all. Motherfuckers gonna, do all that shit, man. Just focus on yourselves, right? Don't focus on the eyes that's on you. And if eyes are being focused on you, give them the real, because the real is something that you don't have to, being real isn't something that you have to give energy towards doing. Being real is just you just existing. That's you being real. You existing how you truthfully are. That's all that shit has ever been. When you try to fake a funk, when you try to be someone else knowing that you're not really that person, man, that's when you start struggling with holding up this facade with this character, right? A motherfucker can't break your breath if your breath is built on authenticity, right? If your breath is built on the validation of other motherfuckers, then of course you're going to, feel compromised in certain situations, man, when it's time for you to, actually be who you say that you're being, right? Like, that's like a motherfucker that's not a gangster, fasading as a gangster just to be put around all these real ass gangsters. Now they, in a compromised situation, right? They gotta really be this, right, to keep on this image, right? When you're not trying to keep an image going, when you're not trying to have validation out here, man, you exist freely. You exist freely. Like, and that's on some real ass shit. You exist freely. You exist without the need, without the validation of other motherfuckers, man. That's what we have to understand as people, right? And the shit is not, easy, right? Especially when you've been born into a world that, worships the ones, that are alike, and kind of outcast the ones that are different, right? And a lot of us and shit like that, when we went to school and shit like that, as we were, in school, man, we dealt with that. We dealt with that type of, issue, with that problem, right? But now as us being young adults and teens, man, we breaking out of that shit, right? We breaking more into truth. Shit, y'all be at peace, though. Share shit.